Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of this fabulous interview segment. I once again am joined by Svetlana Sterlin. Please, make her welcome to the stage.
Wow, thank you so much. Happy to be here, as always. I will be reading a few poems from my book, and I'll start with a title poem, as requested.
Yeah.
If Movement Was a Language, Triptych. 1. No one would be as fluent as us, swimmers, gliding through what we know as air, density augmented. Our shoulders feel brunt of gym tiles. Dad and I flipped onto faded patchwork carpet. I still remember miniature brick pattern of black and grey, now hidden beneath those tiles. Does our presence haunt them, woven as it is in those threads? Does our sweat still simmer underneath those rubber squares? Our backs still feel blistered sky warming our ache. 2. Sweat used to smell like chlorine to me. Tears used to taste of it too. Dad's back still aches with sudden weightlessness. Redundant, his shoulders too. Been months since he hunched over a desk, since he left soaked shoes on pool deck by the office door. Now I return to earn money he no longer can. And I find everything still as we left it. Stretch cords limp on their hooks. Dried bloodstains just out of water's reach. Crack in the tiles where pool cover roller toppled over, where Dad's ache first pulled. 3. Here is where his back cracked like the spine of a book. Here is where I learn a new language. If movement was that language, no one would be as fluent as us, country hoppers, us, page flickers, us, pen wielders, us, keyboard masters, us. Tab and lines lap against the paper like pool water against the cracks. Then I will read Waterbodies, which is a found poem interpolating words and phrases from Lemony Snicket's novel Poison for Breakfast, along with some of my own words. Waterbodies. We never know when we will have our finest hour. Those perfect 60 minutes, I suspect I might be in a body of water. Water and I have always gotten along. Cradle of bubbles and your coltish groans cushion the landing. Nothing is harder than water. This is the sort of thing I like to think about. The loneliest people are the ones you, I, we are never going to see again. It is lonely sometimes to be alone in the suitcase of the pool. I kept racing around it, a body of water in a body of water, a phrase which here means I am always in a body of water, feeling native to nowhere, the world wide open around me, good at loneliness. Remember what you, I, we learned years ago, to pose as people, to swim and read mysteriously. I like this poem, but I do not understand it. And for my next one, I have a very special guest who might be familiar to you.
Oh, wow.
Josephine Renee. And we're going to read this one together. It's called Wheels Spin Black Holes. On the highway to Wild Horse Mountain.
Named after the wild brumbies that used to roam the area.
At the bottom is a forest. Trees arranged in neat rows, trimmed to congruence, except for a discordant clearing with a couch in the middle,
Like a little oblivion.
We hike up the mountain to get a better look at the highway.
What else is there to look at?
Then drive home, talking.
In circles, spinning black holes of memorized conversations.
Talking over Dad's podcast the whole way, until we end up jammed in traffic even though it's a Sunday. Cars lined up on the exit ramp, indicators glistering like fireflies.
Not that I'd know. We don't get fireflies around here.
The podcast ends and I plug my earphones. Suburbia. The brazed land disappears behind us, flattens out into oblivion. Like the unread books on my bedside table.
I don't have a bedside table.
Like the endless loop of downloading. Classic after classic and reading none of them. I'm still wondering if this...
Dad's redundancy, the termination of our swimming club, the implosion of my youth, etc.
If this all bloomed from a little oblivion, along with the mould that festers in all my unwashed goggles. I keep them buried under a pile of shadows, damp with everything that bloomed.
Like the weeds in our backyard.
From the black hole of an ending. How to describe it? Like seeing someone else driving your car in an affluent suburb. Like passing your apartment building and not knowing which window is yours. Thanks, Joe.
Love it.
That's fun. And finally, I will read the closing poem of the collection, Apocalyptic Sunsets at the Dacha. Grandmother always went to bed early. The box TV graining our silhouettes on the sunken couch. I always thought it could devour us whole, my cousin and me. Dark blue depths, the same colour as the night sky, speckled with white bits of lint. Our eyes glowed with midnight rapture, anticipating the mad dash outside to brush our teeth over the mouldy plastic sink. The summer day turned frigid and watchful. Grandmother's cats slinking somewhere in the bush, the only sounds in her yard. The rest of the world may as well have ceased to exist. No cars or lights or neighbourly voices, no barking dogs or crooning birds or even the swaying of branches. Earlier, a false alarm in the form of a storm warning. Council had already cut our power nonetheless. We stayed up, waiting out the brownout, anticipating reruns of dubbed American movies about mermaids and figure skaters. Back here, my parents and I are always out too late in the woods. The ground darkens before the sky does. Dirt cakes my tattered shoes, the same ones I wore when I roamed sprawling meadows behind the dacha, while my mother secretly organised my citizenship. Did she think I'd have said no? Did she think I wasn't old enough at 17 to make my own decisions and know what they mean? She may have been right, because I don't feel any more like a person now than I did then. I don't feel more Russian than I did on those nights, laying half awake on grandmother's blue couch, a breath away from the forest, a dark cloud of apocalypse. In the shelter of those woods, I was my truest self, with my cousin by my side, laughing unbridled until my ribs ached. I was a child then.